Okay, welcome back students. In this video I will be showing the examples for different types of inheritance. Already we discussed inheritance, it is of 5 types. If you watch my previous video, there you will understand we have 5 different types of inheritances: single inheritance, okay, then multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. We said single inheritance, only one base class and one derived class. Okay, only one derived class is going to inherit the properties from one base class. Okay, this type of inheritance we said single inheritance. Then multi-level, you can have like A, B, C, D hierarchy from A to B, then B to C, C to D. Likewise, you can derive any number of levels. Okay. So that kind of inheritance we said multi-level inheritance. Multiple inheritance, where we are going to derive a single class from multiple classes. So in that case what will happen? A single derived class and multiple base classes we are going to have. Then hierarchical inheritance, after multiple we have hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical means exactly opposite to your multiple, where we are going to have only one base class and multiple derived classes. That kind of inheritance we call it as a hierarchical inheritance. And hybrid inheritance, you can merge any of the above four inheritance types in order to get this hybrid inheritance. Suppose if you merge single with multiple, you will get hybrid. Multiple with multi-level, you will get hybrid. So hierarchical and multiple, you will get this hybrid inheritance. So in this video I will show you the example programs for all types of inheritances. The first will start with single inheritance. So what is single inheritance? Only one base class and only one derived class. So the concept I will start by writing our include statement, IOStream, then using namespace std, then we have define your class. We'll consider this A as my base class. I'm writing here, this is my base class. So how we can define this base class? So something like this we can. So in it, what I am doing, I am keeping only one data element and which is of type public. Then I am declaring another one, let us say protected, and I am not going to declare any private, because as you know, private data members simply we cannot access outside the class, isn't it? Even if it is derived class, we cannot access our private data members inside the derived classes. So I am declaring another class, class B, and I want to inherit this class B from this class A. So what I have to do? I have to use the inheritance operator, that is a single colon followed by the mode of inheritance. Okay, I am taking the mode as public. So what will happen? Whatever data members you are going to inherit inside the derived class, their access modifiers will not change. Their access modifiers will remain as it is. Suppose if you are inheriting public A into this derived class, its access specifier is going to be public only. Even inside the derived class, its access modifier is going to be public only. Same like if you are deriving this protected access modifier into the derived class, if you are deriving protected data member into the derived class, then what will happen? Its access modifier is going to be protected only. That is in case of public mode of inheritance. So I am deriving B class from A class in public mode. So like this you have to put. And inside this B class, I am keeping only one data member, that is public, and I am taking like int x. Okay. So see, after deriving A and B in public mode, what will happen? A will become public and B will become protected. So if B is protected and if you try to access this B outside the class, that is inside the main function, what will happen? you cannot access this B because it is protected. Outside the class, access to this protected data member, it is restricted. So what we have to do? We need a public function. We need a public function so that we can access the protected data member. So what I will do? I will put set B value. Set B value. Okay, I am taking a function set B value in order to set the value of B, protected B, because I am going to inherit this B. I am going to inherit from A class to B class, and I am going to create only B class object, and using that B class object only I try to access all my data members, and we will see the reflection how it is going to be. So after closing this second class, now I have to define this set B value function. Okay, so how I can define? Yeah, simply I have to qualify this function with class qualifier, class name. So that is okay, take the return type as of the, for this set B value function, take the return type as void. So write the return type first, then the class name, okay, then scope resolution operator followed by the function name. Okay, here I am going to receive one temporary value, that is I am taking it as T1. So now I want to set this T1 to that B because this B is protected. I want to set that T1 to this B. So how I can? Simply B equals to T1, because this B, it is going to be inherited from A to B class. This small b data member is going to be inherited from A to B class. So after writing the definition of this set value function, I need one more function in order to display the values. So after setting the values, you have to display the values as well. So this display value function will not take any parameters. Okay, no parameters, no return value. It only displays the value. So write the definition of that function also. This display function also, write the definition. So how come? Void display of void. Okay, then what we have to do? Take the curly brackets, and inside it I am going to print all my data members from A class, whatever we are going to inherit, and from B class, whatever we have defined. So simply what we have to do? Yeah, take A comma B and X values. So 3 data member values. X we are printing from B class only. A and B we are printing from A class. So this entire thing will do from B class only. Will not touch A class. Will not create any object of this A class. Even though we try to access these data members using B class. That you will see inside your main function. So after that, what I have to do? Print A value, take the space, then print B value, take some more space, and finally print the X value. Okay, like this, semicolon at the end. So the definition of display function is also over. Now what we have to do? Take the, okay, write the main, int main of void. Okay, in it, what we have to do? Create the object for B class. Create the object for B class. How we can? So take the B class and obj B, object of B, and we are not calling any constructor. So it will call the default constructor. So now what I have to do? I want to access all my data members A, B and X using this obj. How far it is possible, we will see. So first I will try to access the public data member, which is public in A class, and after inheriting it will become public only. Inside B class also it will become public only. A will become public only. So now what we have to do? Obj dot A. Obj dot A equals to, yes, I want to assign some value like 10 I want to assign to obj B dot A. Okay, A data member. Then I want to access the public data member from B class, that is X. As it is public and inside B you can access this X outside the class also using the object obj B dot X. I can access this X equals to some, I am assigning the value 20. So can I access this obj b dot b? Is it possible? Obj b dot b equals to some 50 I am assigning. Is it possible? Yes, it is not possible. The reason, this b variable which is there inside a class is protected. See over here, this b data member which is there inside a class is protected, and if you try to access this b data member outside the class, because it will inherit from a class to b class, it will inherit because it is protected, it will get inherited from a class to b class. So you will get inside b class, you will get that b also. As the mode of inheritance is public, its access modifier is not going to be changed. Its access modifier is not going to be changed. So you will get the same access modifier for this b inside your b class also. So that is the reason why using the b class object, I cannot access this b variable directly. I cannot access this b variable directly. So what we have to do? Quickly make use of this set value function which is public in nature. Make use of this set value function and try to initialize the value, because inside this set value you can see we are initializing the b variable by simply passing one single parameter. So what I will do now, I will call this set value function, set b value function by making use of this b's object and by passing a simple argument, a simple parameter, and that parameter will get initialized to this b variable. That parameter will get initialized to this b variable. So we'll try, first we'll try like this, what error we will get. Like this, what error we will get. I am trying to, yes, after this I will try to display, because we have to invoke this display function so that we will see the output on the output screen. So how can I call this display function? Yeah, here we have to qualify this display function. I forgot to qualify. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So this will qualify your display function with the help of scope resolution operator and class name. So this display function is inside b class and public in nature. So what I have to do? Simply call obj b dot display. Display, at the end put the semicolon. So now we'll save the program and compile. So test some 8.cpp I am taking. So now see here, a of b is protected. That is the reason we cannot access this a of b outside of the class directly. Outside of the class directly. Like this we cannot access. So what I will do, I will put this into comment and we will see what will happen. Compile. So now you can see the execution is successful and you will get only a x value, b value you will not get, because we have not done any initialization. For b we have not done any initialization. So what I will do, so I will quickly call this set b value function which is there inside b class, set b value function, in order to initiate the value for b, and I will try to initiate the same 50 value. So how can we call that set b value function? Yeah, by making use of object obj b dot set b value. Yeah, pass that value 50. So like this we have to initialize that b variable. So now what will happen? Yeah, you try to print over here. Okay, like this you try, simply go and compile, successfully compiled and execute. You will see a, b and x values. A value we are getting 10, b value we are getting 50 and x value we are getting 20. Okay, a, b and x. A and x both are public. So we have initialized 10, 20 to ax. Then we have initialized this protected b with 50 with the help of set b value function. So that is the reason why we are getting a, b, x values like this 10, 50 and 20. Clear? Okay. So this type of inheritance, only one base class and only one derived class. Only one derived class. So this type of inheritance we call it as single inheritance. We call this type of inheritance as single inheritance because only one base class and only one derived class. So after this what I will do, I will modify this same. So the next category, which is multi-level, I will open that PPT so that you will understand where we are exactly. Yes, these are my types of inheritances. Okay, single inheritance, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical and hybrid. So already we discussed this one. This single inheritance already we discussed. Okay, this one we have completed. Single inheritance we have completed. Right now we will go for this multi-level. Multi-level means what? Yeah, this is single inheritance. Only one base class and only one derived class. This type of inheritance we call it as single inheritance. Okay, then we are going for multi-level. Multi-level means more than one derived class, but it should go in this way. First we have one base class, from that we are deriving a derived class, and you are deriving a third derived class from already derived class. Okay, this is your base, isn't it? This is your derived, and you are having one more derived from this derived. So likewise you can have any number of classes. There is no restriction of the number of levels what you are going to have in this multi-level inheritance. There is no restriction. You can have any number of levels like this. Okay, if you consider this as level 0, and if it is level 1, and if it is level 2, like this you can have up to n. There is no restriction on that one. How many levels you can have in multi-level inheritance, there is no restriction. You can have any number of levels inside this multi-level inheritance. But for our understanding, for our easiness, what we will do, we will take only 3. Already I have this A, B. I will take this C as well. I will take that C as well. What is called? So quickly minimize this and open our compiler. Yes, already we have the base class with A and B. Okay, and we have one derived class with only one parameter I am taking, right, x. So what I will do, I will put these two functions inside my level 2 derived class. Okay, so here I am just to make you understand whether we can access this protected or not. So int y also I am taking. So in my third class, so third class, how I am deriving? I have to derive the third class from this B class. Already we written A, we have written B, and now we are writing C class. We are defining this C class. So when we define this C class, from where we have to define? We have to define only from this B. So that I will do now. So I will derive that C class from B class in public mode. So this is what? This is derived class level 1. As it is multi-level, I am writing the levels also. This is level 1. This base class level 0. We said level 0. Level 0, level 1. Now this third thing will become level 2. Third thing will become level 2. C class will become level 2. So quickly here what we have to do? Yes, write the definition for this C class. So here in it I am declaring only one access specifier. I am taking as public int p. I am declaring only one variable, p variable. So now in it what I have to do? Yes, as you know, when you derive this C class from B class, which is already derived from A class, this C class will get all data members from A class, all data members from B class. It will get AB as well as it will get XY. Okay. So inside C, how many data members we have here? Okay. Inside C, we are going to have A. Okay. And A, which will be public because it is public in A class. Okay, then it is going to have X, which is also public in B class. X is public in B class and the mode of inheritance is public. So you will get that X as public only. So these two will become public, and you will also get what you will get? You will get these protected members as well. From A class, from A class you will get this B, protected member B, and its access modifier is going to be protected only, because our mode of inheritance is public. Public means no change in access modifiers. Whatever we have in the base class, the same thing you will get in derived class. So B will become protected, and Y over here, from B class you will get Y, which is also protected, so it will remain protected. So here what you will get, B comma Y, two data members you will get, and both are protected, like this. Clear? So now in order to access this AX, there is no issue because they are public. I can access this AX inside my main function. But whereas when I try to access this BY, there is a problem because they are protected in my derived class. So what I have to do, I have to take a public method in order to set the value and in order to get the value. So what I will do now, void, first of all to set the value, void set. Now how many variables we are setting? We are setting two variables, two data members, B comma Y. So set by value, set by value. How many parameters I have to pass to this set by value function? Two parameters, int comma int, put the semicolon. Then what we have to do, in order to get the value or in order to display the value, I need one more public method. So void get, or because we are not only retrieving by as well as we are printing ax also. So that is the reason why I will take my function name as display. So it will display all and it will not take any parameter because its job is just to display the values. So it will not take any parameters. Now here I have to write my set by value functions definition. So that I am writing over here, and we have to qualify this function with C class, not with B but C class, because it is defined in C class. Okay, so C. Okay, and how many parameters we need over here? Two parameters, comma int t2. So like this. So this t1 to what we are assigning? To B we are assigning. Then t2 to what we are assigning? To Y we are assigning. So take that thing over here. So Y equals to t2, like this. So my set by value function is defined. So what next I have to do? I have to write the definition for this display function as well, and this display function is going to display all public as well as protected data members, all public as well as protected data members from C class, from C class. As you can see, inside C we have P as well as two inherited public data members A comma X and two inherited protected data members B comma Y. So I have to print all those. So A comma B comma X comma X and Y values, like this you can write A comma B comma X comma Y and P values. So this P is public in C class, as you can see over here. This P is public in C class. So quickly print those values. So A already we are printing, B already we are printing. So here X, and after that take space in between, and then after A, B, X and print the Y, and finally we have to print that public data member from C class, which is P. Okay, like this we have to print all the data members A, B, X, Y and P. I am doing that. So yeah, how I am going to modify my main function means, yeah, right now as we are dealing with multi-level inheritance, already we discussed A, B. Okay, in my previous example I have created object for B class, because in that example we discussed only single inheritance. So we inherited the properties from A to B and we have created the object for this B class, and we have accessed all the data members from A class with the help of B class object. So right now what we do, we are inheriting the properties from A to B, then B to C. So what we do, we create the object for C class. We create the object for C class and we try to access whatever possible data members we can access from all our levels of classes, from A, from B and from C as well. So quickly, inside my main function, what I will do, I will create the object for C class, obj C. Okay, no need of constructor call, directly it will create the object. So after this, I want to initialize, okay, the value of A. Okay, so why it is not showing? Okay, C class object, okay, now it is showing. So this A is public in A class, clear. So that value I am assigning as 10. Then we have X as public in B class, X as public in B class. First we will initialize all the public data members because we can access them directly. Without the help of any member function, we can access them directly. So that's what we are doing right now. So already I have initialized A. Now I am initializing X, which is also public from B class. So the value I am taking as 20. Then I will initialize P. Okay. Then I will initialize P, which is public from C class, as you can see over here, which is public from C class. Data member P, which is public from C class. So I am taking the value as 30. Okay. So now can I initialize these protected data members directly by making use of the object that we have already seen? I mean, like this, can we do objc dot B? Is it possible? No, it is not possible. The reason, they are protected. And obj c dot y equals to 50. Like this, there it is not possible because these two are protected in C class. So what I have to do, I will put them in comment section and directly I will go and I will make use of this set by value function. I will make use of this set by value function to initialize B and Y. Okay, what I have to do, I have to call this set by value function by making use of C class object and by passing two parameters. So that I will do now. So obj C dot set by value. Okay, and pass the two parameters, the same parameters I am passing, 40 and 50, 40 for B and 50 for Y. Okay, so like this. Now after this, what I have to do? Yeah, I have to invoke the display method, display function, so that we'll see the data members values. Okay, so invoke the display function by making use of C class object. So what I have to do? Obj C dot display. That's it. As it is a void function without parameters, no need to put any parameters over here. So simply save this program and execute, compile. Compilation is successful, then run. So as you can see, A, B, these two are, A, X, they are public data members. A and X, they are public, and we took the values 10, 20. So 10, 20 we are getting for A, X. And P, also public from C class, we are getting 30 for that P. Then we have B, Y, they are protected, so we don't have direct access. By making use of set by value function, we have initialized the values for B and Y, and we got 40 and 50 over here, like this. Hope this will give the example for that multi-level inheritance. Next thing is multiple inheritance. Okay, multiple means only one derived class and multiple base classes. So we need to have ABC and we have only one derived class. So it is very easy to implement. Anyhow, I will show you that. So first what we have to do, already we have base class. Base class, okay, 1. I am marking it as base class 1. So for multiple inheritance, I need one more base class, or if you want to take this same example in programming, then we need 3 base classes and only one derived class. So that I will do now. So here I will call this as B, class B. Okay, then I will make this as base class 2, and here I am changing the data members, okay, X and this to Y. Okay, so next thing, take another one. Okay, so this is C class, so this is base class 3. Okay, base class 3, and here I am taking PQ. So now I want to inherit my D class, from A, B, C, 3 different base classes, and I want to inherit A to D as public, B to D as public, and C to D as public only. I want to use only the public inheritance mode. Okay, I don't want to complicate the stuff. Okay, that complication kind of thing you can practice by your own. So simply for your better understanding, I am taking the inheritance mode as public only. So what will happen whenever I take the inheritance mode as public, whatever data members you have in A class, their access modifiers are not going to change. They will remain as it is. So if they are public in A, they will become public in D. If they are protected in A, they will become protected in D. So that we will see over here. So this is my third base class. So right now what I am doing, I am taking my class D. Okay, class D. This I want to inherit from A in public mode. Okay, from B in public mode, then from C in public mode. Like this you have to do. Okay, multiple declarations you have to separate with separator, comma separator. So like this you can do. Then you remove this entire thing, and whenever it is required, we will take it back. Just remove this one. Okay. So right now what I have to do, I have to, in this C class, what data members I am going to get? See here, I am going to get, in this C, don't take this protected, take only public. No, sorry. Control Z. In this D, I mean to say, in this D, when you are defining this D, take only one variable, one data member of type public. Public, here you take, yes, int, already ABC, XYZ, PQ are all over now. So I am taking I. Okay, int I, which is public, and I have defined this I inside D class. Clear? Inside D class. So close this class. So now, inside this D class, I will get, okay, A from this A class as public, X from this B class as public, P from this B class as public. So that I am writing over here. A comma B comma X, sorry, not B, A comma X comma P. All these data members I will get as public, because my mode of inheritance is public, so they will not change their access specifier. Then what data members I will get as protected, that is protected B from A class, Y from B class, and Q from C class I will get. Okay, B comma Y comma Q. So these data members I will get as protected. Cool, that's it. So public data members AXP as well as this I can access directly. But when I try to access this BYP, it is not possible because they are protected. Outside the class, access is restricted. So what I have to do? Take one public method to set the values. Set BYQ values of how many parameters I have to pass? Right now I have to pass 3 parameters because 3 data members I want to initialize. T3. Okay, close this declaration. Now to display the values, simply call one display function. Okay, no parameters, no return values. Okay, then inside my main function, of what class I have to create the object? Yes, I have to create the bottommost class, that is D class object. I want to create the object for this D class and I want to access the data members of A, B, C as well as D. Okay. So quickly create the object for the D class, obj D, like this. Then using this obj D, I can access all the public data members directly. So A, X, P, I can access. So obj D dot A, okay, equals to 10 I am taking. Then obj D dot X, that is also public, isn't it? So 20 I am taking. Next obj D dot, what is that? P from C class, okay, equals to 30 I am taking. Okay, next obj D dot I also I can initialize because it is public. So the value I am taking it as 40. Next is initialize the protected data members. Can we initialize them directly? No, not possible. So make use of this set byq values function. So how we can? byq values functions, that is obj D dot set byq values. How many values I have to pass? 3 values. So after 40, 50 comma 60 comma 70 I am taking. 3 values I am passing. Next, to display the values, obj D dot display. obj D dot display of void. So like this. So right now this will initialize the values 50, 60, 72. Where is that? We have not written the definition, it seems. Yes, we have to write the definitions for set byq values as well as display function. So that I am doing. So first I am trying to write the definition for set byq values. So int, we are, here no need of parameters. So here only I got confused. So remove this one and remove this one, because whenever we are calling the function, no need to specify the parameters, only types are sufficient. Okay. So here t1 int t2 comma int t3. So like this you can take. Go to the end. Yes, go to the end, and here what we have to do? Inside it, make b as t1, then make y as t2, then make z as t3. Sorry, not z. After y, what we have? After y, we have this q. Make q as t3. Okay. So then write the definition for display. Okay. Void d, qualify it, then display of void only. Okay, here C out of what values we have to print? A comma B comma X comma Y comma P comma Q comma I and I. In this, A, X, P, I are public, B, Y, Q are protected. So how can we print? Yeah, you have to print one by one. First you print A, then take space. So this thingy I will just copy, Control C, go to the end, and here you take this variable as B. Okay, again I will copy the same thingy, paste this same thing, and here you put C, go to the end, not C, X, go to the end, Control V, then we have after X we have to print Y, go to the end. Okay, after Y we have to print P, go to the end. After P we have to print Q. Okay, and again Control V, after Q we have to print I. I is my last data member. Then you delete this and put the semicolon. Okay, so now we have printed all my data members. So quickly save this program, execute, compile. Expected primary expression. Yeah, here when you call, no need of parameter. When you call, no need of parameter, that's it. Yes, successfully compiled, execute, and you can get 10, 20, 30, 40 are public and 50, 60, 70 are protected. In that way you can implement this one. So the next thing is this hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. I will explain hierarchical and hybrid. I will give as example as homework to you. You have to implement that hybrid inheritance at home. Okay. So hierarchical inheritance, multiple base classes, single base class, multiple derived classes. So it is very simple. Take this A as your base class. Take this A as your base class. Derive this with two data members. Derive this with two data members. One is public and one is protected. And try to inherit B from A and have only one public data member inside B. Okay, same thing you do for C. Inherit A into C and try to have only one public data member inside C. Okay, in order to access the protected data member from A, you need to have functions. In B, C, D, you need to have functions. Okay, so in that way you can implement this hierarchical inheritance. Try to implement this as well as try to implement this hybrid inheritance. If not, in tomorrow's class we will discuss how we can do this hybrid as well as hierarchical inheritance implementations with program code. Thank you, students.